So we wanted to discuss the concept of open computing and ePTS time transfer. I'm Magnus Danielsson. I'm here with my colleague Per Lindgren, and we wanted to kind of illustrate a little thing we wanted to look at. So we hear talks about virtualization. You want to run software on COTS, hardware, etc. So we had a look on this, and we see in Open RAN, we have the open discussion about open virtualized RAN, where you disaggregate things onto standard hardware, and you want that flexibility as you build that, and you want to simply implement it on bare metal or virtualized machines or containerized platforms. And that very much matches up what we have been thinking about when we do ePTS and the pre-ePTS work. So we wanted to kind of test that, put that to a test. And for those who don't remember what ePTS is, it's something we work in ITU-T, and this is to address the challenges when you're operating in a WAN with an overlay time transport that do not have the timing support that you do in the full timing support. The current ePTS work, it's a variant of the partial timing support aspects in the network, and virtualized networks applies to this. What we always try to say, we want to hear your asymmetry challenges, bring it to ITU-T. We need it so we can integrate it and fully understand things. Now, normally when we've done this in the development we've done before, we implemented things in FPGAs. That's a concept that we are comfortable with. But we wanted to test this. So we went out, bought a little bit of hardware, in this case, Raspberry Pi 5s. We wanted to simply use what's there. So no dedicated hardware, only what comes with the box. And so the packet generation and parsing of packets, that all goes in software. We do the timestamping on the NIC, which is supplied. We use the Linux clock system for the node clock functionality, and there is really no dedicated NIC capabilities. This is just as it was given from the box. And for those who are not used to this, modern NICs that you have in hardware, they have a timestamping capability. And the Linux system have provided for many years now the ability to access that. So there is a standard API that we can use that. So when you open your socket, you set SO timestamp socket option, and you get access to the transmit and receive timestamps that the NIC will do for you. And this is what we use here. And this is also quite interesting. We wanted to see how well does that behave. Also, when you do that, we get it for both the transmit time and receive time, which we will illustrate. So, I mean, this is what we have. When we started to check this, even old NICs had that capability, so it's been established for a long time. So let's put it to use. And what we do here is we end the app that generates the packets. We generate the packet, we send it to the NIC, and we do what we call a next step operation. It's for the people, if you know what two-step in PTP is, it's more or less the same thing. But we don't want to say that because this is not PTP, it's just UDP packets, nothing capable, timing capable other than the timestamp we have in the NIC. And so we get that, we then put the timestamp we get on the transmit side in the next packet. And we're running, like if you, for instance, run 1,000 packets per second, it's just 1 millisecond away anyway. So that's the timestamp you put in the packets. That was from the previous one. And we do this, and we timestamp on the neck, and then we go for the next challenge.
Exactly. So then we thought, since we are doing now this next step operation, we are not manipulating the timestamps in the network, because that's the whole concept of ePTS. It's just an end-to-end distribution of time. We can add also security aspects. So we heard earlier today about zero trust. We need really to make sure that we have a secure time transfer end-to-end. And of course, with this concept, it's quite easy. So we added that as part of the tests, just using the existing AS capabilities in the Raspberry Pi, which actually also has acceleration capabilities for that. But as you could see, I mean, it's with that next step operation, we can do the encryption, and then the timestamping is not affected. So then looking at the results, what we did now is actually adding the full software stack into the Raspberry Pi. So this means it's the full functionality of a pre-standard ePTS in that Raspberry Pi. So we could connect it into our existing products. So we put one of our existing hardware custom hardware products as a reference, sending pre-ePTS into the Raspberry Pi, connecting into the next Raspberry Pi, and then so it's a free-step or free-hop time transfer into the leaf node there. And then in the leaf node, we compared to the reference, and we could measure the time error across those free hops. And you can see in the graphs, and of course, this is ideal lab conditions, so it's just fiber strands, but still, we're doing free time transfer hops. And it's within 30 nanoseconds time error there on the max, and 40 nanoseconds MTI. So that's good. But of course, it's ideal lab conditions, and we heard from Simo earlier, that's not the way you should test your equipment. So we put it out on a little bit tougher test. And we are connected to pan-European network operators in our facilities in Stockholm. So we asked them, could you set up just a standard IPVPN connection from Stockholm to London, and loop it back to Stockholm? So we're connecting our two Raspberry Pis, London and back. So that's roughly 4,000 kilometers. When we measured the round trip, it was 60 milliseconds. So we don't, and that just indicates we don't know exactly the paths. We don't know the number of hops, anything. And that's the beauty of it, right? That it's just end-to-end time transfer. Also, you can see the packet delay variation there. It's an averaging, but you see quite large packet delay variations. This is over 24 hours. And you can see the typical Netflix that during evenings and mornings you get some spikes. But despite that quite bad network connections, we're able to be within 600 nanoseconds end-to-end. So that's pretty good. And I said, it's no managed, there's no hardware time stamping in that path. It's just end-to-end. And again, it gives just our good feeling that this is quite interesting approach, because now we're talking to COTS servers sitting end-to-end, and there's no hardware time stamping anywhere in the path. So really, and there's a lot of applications where you can think of this could be interesting. Getting precise time into COTS servers, COTS hardware, and of course, the 600 nanoseconds. That's really probably not a typical application. Rather, we can be within those 30. Below 100 nanoseconds in a more local area environment. So there's a lot of these type of applications. We would need your input too, right? Because again, the ePTS standardization being done in ITU is very telecom focused, with the focus on 5G and the need for telecom networks. But this opens up also other possibilities and opportunities. So, we ask people, get involved. If you have virtualization applications and you feel this could be of interest, getting a precise time end-to-end, come talk to us. Because we're setting now the frameworks going forward for this. So we want to do it right for all the applications. That was a little bit from us.
Yeah, I have one more thing. We did an example where there's been a discussion about how crypto will affect timing, etc. So we did a little test here to show it. Also see Mikael Jonsson's presentation from Ericsson tomorrow, and look on his presentation on exactly the same issue. So plug for that one.
Very good. Thank you.